YouTube, what the Attila online multiplayer crap is going on? Welcome back. Well, that guy's really singing the song there in the background. I think I got the sound about right. Maybe it's still a little too loud. We'll bring it down just a smidge there. So let's jump into a replay. I've got a couple I'll be showing you this week, obviously, like I do every week. I hope you all enjoyed the Rome 2 replays that came before the other day. Seems like some of you don't really agree and think that I really was a hill camper in the first one. That's fine. You can think what you want. I don't really agree, but it's all good. just playing for fun, I guess. So, which is kind of funny. Like I said, I like taking those weird armies like that, but it's like I do. All of a sudden, I become the devil, I think, in some people's eyes, which is fine. Again, I'm not trying to run that. Those people can think what they will. I'm not going to censor your comments or anything else, so have fun. I've got this game here. I played against Death Pope, who was a viewer, and he said he liked the videos, and we had a fun game together, a very fun game. And he was a great guy, and I hope you continue to enjoy the videos. It's always fun to run into viewers and get a chance to play with you all, and obviously it makes it a lot more fun. So, I haven't played a Viking faction, or a Viking forefather faction, in a long time, so I picked the Jutes, and my opponent went with the Visigoths. I would say that the Jutes, at least, I need to look at the roster for the other Viking forefather factions. They'll do okay in this patch, because Germanic horsemen got nerfed into an oblivion, and the fact that horse lords, they're still quite expensive, but they have the headhunt ability on them. I think it's still called headhunt. It shows it down there. When you use it, though, it's not the same as in Rome 2, where they go on like a crazy killing spree. It actually just makes their morale unbreakable for 30 seconds, which means that you can keep them in a fight 30 seconds beyond where they should have been, which can sometimes be very handy. Let's go over my Jute Army, though. So I kind of have like an obligatory 6 Nordic horse lords going against, well, just Attila in general. It's 6 heavy cav is just pretty much the way it plays nowadays. So I've got 6 Nordic axe warriors, and I'm doing a very common thing that's done right now in Attila. You just send your cav in first, back them up with the crazy 2-handed axes, and bada bing, bada boom, your guys grind it out, depending on who gets the right charges. In the center, I've got some Herdmen, and these guys don't really have great attack, but really a very solid unit for the price. They're kind of similar to maybe like Protectores Domestici, and you can get them in shield wall, and they can be good. If you don't get them in shield wall, they're not great, but they do have the scare ability, still, for being so cheap. And then I've got my Nordic raid leader here as well. Not a great unit. The melee damage is great, and the charge bonus is good. It's just the melee attack, for some strange reason, is awful. And they are very prone to missile fire, so something to be aware of. So that's my army in a nutshell. My opponent overloads with cav on this flank, so I have to move to match him. He's got 2 very well upgraded Noble Gothic Lancers, and maybe just a bit of advice to my opponent here. Don't upgrade Shock Cavalry. It's pretty much never worth it, because the upgrades push your melee attack up, but the melee attack on Shock Cavalry is so low that it doesn't really matter. It's all about your charge bonus. So if those upgrades had been instead spent across all of your Noble Germanic Horsemen, it would have been a much bigger threat in the end. Now, taking Shock Cavalry like this I don't think is a bad choice. These Noble Gothic Lancers with a good charge can hurt my Horse Lords very badly, or my infantry, so I think that the choice of unit is good. The choice of upgrading maybe not so much. He's got a Thracian Oathsworn on both sides. These are elite infantry units. I don't know how much they cost. We'll go take a look. They are pretty much the same as in Rome 2, though. They are vulnerable to missiles, but very powerful. And then he's got a main line of Gothic Palatina defectors. These are some very nice infantry. And they're backed up by 3 Germanic archers and a Germanic noble. Now, in the beginning of the battle, my opponent was like, what are those slingers going to do? This is what the slingers are going to do. They're going to slow your cavalry down now by 25%. And that hurts your charge in the end, so that's what slingers do. Plus, I'm drawing the fire of your Germanic archers, who are spending quite a bit of ammunition on a very cheap unit. Same thing here. So as long as you're not firing at my cavalry, and you're spending it on a 150 talent unit, the 275 talent archer unit isn't going to pay itself off. So that's why you can sometimes choose hurlers, and it will be worth it. They sometimes are not worth it, though. So just kind of about knowing how to use them. So again, my goal is to get over here and try and slow down the charge of these the Noble Gothic Lancers, and here I do so. These Gothic Lancers get their charge slowed down. They're still going to get a good charge because I kind of missed them with the Horse Lords. And he swings back in. No, he's going to attack my axeman here. But it's not going to be the best charge because it's coming from this. Oh, he got stopped just short. Really sucks for him. Now my axemen are in this fight, though, and all of his cavalry is going to start getting torn up pretty badly. On this flank, my Nordic horse lords are duking it out with his noble Germanics, and I don't know if the charge speed came into play or not, but I got a really good charge, and my axes are going to help clean that up. I can now bring my axeman over here to deal with some of the Gothic Palatina. I should be going into shield wall right now because he's charging me, but I do not get into shield wall, and my herdmen are going to take a herd beating from these Gothic Palatina defectors. It is going to be absolutely ugly. So yeah, these Palatina defectors are some beastly infantry, and even my herdmen, as nice as they are going to die without doing hardly anything there. So you who are about to die, I salute you. I'm going to get my Nordic horse lords that got free into his archers. I feel like I have enough axemen in this fight, and my opponent is a little slow to bring these Oathsworn into play. He really needs them into the back of these Nordic horse lords, and it would be a brutal charge. But I mean, you can just see how fast Nordic axes can mop up a cav fight. And again, my opponent really needs to get his Noble Gothic Lancers out of here immediately. And you can see that I give chase to his Noble Germanics here so that they can't get away. These Noble Germanics actually have chevrons for upgrades, which is quite nice. Some of them do, it looks like. So good choice on the upgrade there. And again, asking what slingers can do, they can kill Thracian Oathsworns because they don't have a shield. So getting kills on these units with my slingers is totally worth it.
Our men have given up and are running for their
Now over
lives.
here, his Gothic Palatina defectors struggle against my axe warriors, but because of their own solid charge and stats, the no melee defense and other stuff plays a pretty big role. So again, the slingers here are going to be getting kills on Thracian Oathsworns. I got quite a bit of ammo left, not a ton, but enough to do some damage, and it slows them down as well. So again, slingers are good at this type of engagement. They're not great everywhere. My horse lords over here are going to die, and I think I forget to use the headhunt ability, which is a major blunder. Like right now, I should have engaged headhunt. Doesn't matter, they pretty much died to the last man anyway. But should have engaged it, and then it just made it more frustrating for my opponent. These axe warriors are now kind of separated from the rest of the group, and over here I'm just wrapping up the remnants of this fight. So remember, these Thracian Oathsworns now getting rear charged by axe warriors, so they're going to get slaughtered what was left of them. The Nordic axe warriors will also help slaughter this remaining Germanic noble cav. So my opponent does better in the center, and I did better on my right, his left. And now we're going to have to get our troops ready to face each other again. Look, Thracian Oathsworns basically fight to the death, though. You can see there's only 5 of them here, and they're still fighting. They didn't get many kills, though, for being an elite infantry unit. I thought I put these guys on skirmish. Apparently I did not, though, because they are totally about to get caught. I was almost certain I had them on skirmish, but apparently I did not. So unfortunate, because they probably could have killed that Thracian Oathsworn unit, or at least most of it. The Germanic archers at this point, because they spent some ammo early on my slingers, are now low on ammo, which they badly need to hurt my horse lords and axe warriors. If they had that ammo, they would be in very, very good shape. So again, I think that's the value of slingers. It's not that the slingers themselves are fantastic. And if you look, these Palatina defectors have better armor and probably a missile block chance way better than the Nordics. So the missiles would be a lot more dangerous to my men than it would be to his at this point. He's only got about 1 volley left in these guys, and he uses it wisely. He fires into my axemen, and he had been firing at my general. So potentially killing my general would have been great. These Nordic axe warriors take a few losses, but again, now his ammo is spent. This unit may have like 1 or 2 more arrows. This one is spent. And now I'm just going to send my slingers into melee against his archers and just kind of get this final engagement started. But these Nordic axe warriors definitely took some damage, but they're going to stabilize. Yep, and while some of that was going on, I had my other Nordic axe warrior get into these Palatina defectors. They did a little bit of damage. The Herdmen did not do any of that damage. This Oathsworn from killing those slingers is now a little bit separated from the fight. It's walking back to the fight, probably trying to regain their stamina, but getting too far away from the help of these Palatina defectors means that this unit is now dead. It's going to get double charged by my 2 bigger Nordic Horse Lord units and killed. If you're going to charge one of these Thracian Oathsworns, though, make sure it dies, because if it doesn't, it will cut your men down in combat fairly effectively, so you have to kill it. If you charge one and don't get a good charge, it will absolutely rip you apart. So that's why I bring in both charges here, just to make sure that we kill them to the last man. and that's what we've done at this point. So you can see that the Thracian Oathsworn do fight to the last man here without even wavering. So definitely got to be careful of units like that have the really high morale. And then check it out, here's a fight of heavyweights. Germanic archers duking it out with Nordic hurlers in hand-to-hand combat. So definitely some of the most elite melee units in the game going at it here. This lady has even thrown in her lot. It's too bad she doesn't have like a frying pan to go after these guys with. Yeah, up close and personal with the archer on slinger fight. Neither one has hardly any attack, so that'll take forever. This horse lord keeps wavering. Something I've got to be careful of. I don't want it to rout, but I don't want to use my headhunt ability until it really is going to play the most role. So my opponent starts to come around the flank. I go ahead and charge his Palatina defectors. I think they'll actually win this fight, potentially. But my guys did get a solid charge, and they'll do good. Now I'm going to bring my cavalry around and try and get at the enemy general. I'm going to bring my general up for morale support, and then I've got axe warriors on this flank to swing around, and now I've got my cav in behind his lines as well. So now it's just a matter of trying to finish up properly here. My axe warriors, though, are going to be very hard for the Palatina defectors to kill, and the enemy general needs to be very careful here. It's just a Germanic noble unit. So the Palatina defectors here get nailed by a rear charge, and I think, yep, I go ahead and drop the headhunt ability, so now these guys will have to be killed basically to the last man or wait until after 30 seconds for them to leave. And once my opponent now commits here because he has to, I can now reel in the rest of my Nordic horse lords, and then of course you can see these Palatina defectors here got mopped up by a combination of cav and axe warriors. So the Jutes are actually a pretty viable faction, I would say, in the current state of Attila. Are they the best? Maybe not, but they certainly are viable, in my opinion. The Visigoths also a very viable faction. Here, I think my opponent, he spent quite a bit of money between these Palatina defectors and the Thracian Oathsworns. And I don't know. It depends on what someone brings with the Jute Army. The Thracian Oathsworn may be overkill, in my opinion. His cavalry is not bad. These two charging cavalry, if he would have gotten a solid charge, it would have done the trick. They would have knocked my guys out. So I don't disagree with his cav necessarily. And it's just his infantry line where it makes me wonder if he could have brought something that's more cost effective, or better yet, just get his archers to do more firing at my axemen potentially. So anyway, let's go take a look at a couple of factions real quick. Good game to my opponent. It was fun. Just trying to throw a couple of tips out there for him. It's not like I always get things right either. As far as the Jutes go, I'll give you just a few reasons why I think they're a little bit competitive. Nordic pikemen, Nordic levy, Nordics. They have these thrall skirmishers, which are pretty cheap, and you get 9 javelins. These guys can be handy. Though as far as what I like to use them for, I usually like to use them to get rid of enemy cav, which the axes are pretty good at, so you don't necessarily have to bring them. The horse lords are what I would suggest from a cavalry standpoint. Viking raider cav, I don't really see this being useful. It's anti-infantry cav, but like all cav is anti-infantry cav. You'd be just as well have to bring a much cheaper unit to do the same thing. Infantry-wise, Nordic Axe Warriors are great. You get a lot of bang for your buck out of these guys. Now, if you want a little more sturdy unit, you can go with the Huskarl. It's got more health and armor and defense. Not high, but it's a lot better than the Axe Warrior. So again, if you're looking for a little more sturdy with a little more melee attack, you can go with the Huskarl. The Royal Huskarls, of course, nuts here with their stats. Very dangerous unit, and they also have rapid advance. I think both Huskarls do, so that would be an advantage of the Huskarl. This rapid advance will help you get into a fight a lot faster, which actually can be very critical. So something to keep in mind there. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the Jutes. I can't remember how they compare up to the Danes here. So they still get the Axe Warrior, so they still have that availability, which is great. I'm trying to remember what the Danes have that's really different. Herdmen, Nordic warriors. Yeah, I don't remember what the Danes have that's a whole lot different here. It doesn't look a whole lot different. Is it like a skirmisher Nordic javelin? No, I don't know what really sets the Danes apart there. I can't even remember. And the Geats, they have all the spears. So if you're looking for extra spearmen, that's going to be where you get it. Don't know if that's ever really worth it either. But I mean, the Jutes definitely have the best two-handed axe infantry because of the Huskarls and the Royal Huskarls. So anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this one. HeirofCarthage, signing off for now.